Billy T. James taught us to laugh at ourselves. He was, of course, a Māori, taking the mickey out of Māori, or anyone else for that matter. In the mid-80s, he could do no wrong. Awarded an MBE, the star of film and television. So how did our most loved comedian end up dying at only 42? Penniless and owing hundreds of thousands to the IRD. It's nearly 20 years since he died of complications from a heart transplant, yet it's only now an authorised biography is telling his story. Robin James looks back at the extraordinary life of Billy T. James.
The X Factor came from a little schoolboy cheekiness. You know, I've just got away with something. That's what sold the world.
This comes to pass when a child is born.
Beautiful voice, absolutely astounding voice, and a very, very good musician.
Okay, who owns the sheep?
I do.
Well, get the flock out of here.
They were different times, the 80s.
Best entertainer, Billy T. James!
And Billy T reigned supreme.
I believe that Billy T should get a posthumous knighthood for what he did to the overall psyche of this country, because he put his arms around a multicultural society. He said it's okay to be whatever you are.
To get samples of your exotic native plants.
Peter Rowley was a fellow comedian and a mate. Together he and Billy wrote some of this country's most iconic NEG comedy.
Check this out.
Thank goodness I was around when political correctness wasn't reigning supreme, and we aired things openly.
Tobacco for your men and some glue for your children. How say you, Savage?
Those times racially were so totally different to now, and that some of the stuff that he was doing was very edgy. And as Pākehā, I had to keep saying, Billy, are you sure we can say stuff like this? I mean, woo. And he said, no, bro, it's cool, I'll tell you.
Tony Holden both produced and directed Billy.
The worst thing they ever did for Billy was that I made him shave his moustache off.
Billy could say things no one else would get away with.
When I give my bag, I pitched it.
You couldn't do that now.
Drink.
Imagine if he was around today.
Would he hate it?
No, I mean, look at Mr. Tamaki. Imagine what he'd do with that.
But as times changed, so did our sense of humour.
A lot of Māori didn't accept that his comedy was funny. They thought it was racist.
How did he take that?
Hard. He's a comedian. He was never political. He was adamant that as a comedian he could take piss out of anything.
Along with political correctness came death threats, drive-by shootings.
It's a bit off-putting, and so I tend to sort of take them seriously.
He was terrified, and he just couldn't believe that someone who told jokes could really could be assaulted like this.
You see, behind the laughs, Billy T was compulsively shy.
He actually didn't have a lot of social confidence, but he hid behind lots of personas that he could do so well.
Splash.
He must have smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, to the best of my knowledge. He was so nervous.
The diet wasn't great either.
Loved fried chicken. Just adored it. But no, I mean, I'm not eating that, it's green. You know, was his theory on vegetables. And he partied. He loved to party, he loved to, you know, he'd stay up very late, whiskey, champagne.
They will neither confirm nor deny that Billy T has had the operation.
He was only the 14th person to have a heart transplant in New Zealand.
Matt Elliott's Billy's biographer. He persuaded Billy's reclusive Pākehā wife, Lynn, into talking.
She said to me, so why do you want to write about my boy? And I was quite moved by that.
And I used to joke to him about the heart, because I think it was a young Caucasian heart. And I used to say, well, at least we won't be knocking on your doors and asking for it back in a few years.
I saw these two fellas pinching the gate, but I never said anything until they took offence.
We were getting paid to have just complete fun. And then it all started to turn to custom.
Billy set up a company called the Dream Factory.
People took, unfortunately, advantage of his nature, and he lost a lot of money, and he got talked into ventures and didn't seek appropriate advice.
Because he in the end died penniless, owing a lot to IRD, didn't he?
Yes, yeah, he did. And I mean, some years he was, he was earning over 500 grand. I'm told.
And there was no dignity in death either.
Billy T. James died this afternoon. He was just 42.
His body taken by whānau against his wife's wishes.
How was that for Lynn?
Well, as you can understand, for Lynn and Lyrie and his father, it's just devastating.
She didn't even go to the funeral in the end, did she?
No.
Rowley didn't go to the tangi either.
Billy actually said to me he didn't want that to happen. He didn't actually say that his body was going to be snatched, but he wanted to do it his way.
He certainly did it his way in life.
We lost one out of the box. He was a gem.